Hello, welcome to Fair But Firm. Joe Cortez here from Las Vegas, Nevada. Guys, this coming weekend, Floyd Mayweather Jr. faces Marcos Maidana. Maidana holds the WBA welterweight title belt. Floyd Mayweather owns the WBC world title belt and 2 belts of the junior middleweight championship. So it'll be a night of champions fighting each other. And Marcos Maidana claims that he has a code to beat Floyd Mayweather. Then you've heard that 45 times in the past. Everybody says they got his code, they can do it. A lot of fans feel like Marcos Maidana has a little edge for the simple reason that an edge as far as the other fighters, not an edge over Mayweather, but an edge that he brings more experience into this fight. And on top of that, he also has a good high percentage, like a 80% ratio of knockouts. So he has a good punch. Any punch is very dangerous because if the right one doesn't get you, the left one will. So you never know. But Mayweather says, after I interviewed him last week, he said, Joe, if they can't hit what they don't see. In other words, Floyd's going to be so quick out there. He says he's going to be untouchable. They're not going to be able to touch him. And Floyd Mayweather is a fighter that has great reflexes. Even though he's 37 years young, I can't say he's 37 years old because he still fights like a young fighter. So I got to say 37 years young. He has a great lateral movement. He has great experience into the ring. And unheard of, a fighter holding the championship for over 17 consecutive years without a defeat. He defended his title like 20-some odd times already. He speaks a lot for himself, not only as a fighter, but as a person as well. Floyd has really changed a lot in the last couple of years. He's very personable, he's very intelligent, he handles himself very well inside the ring, outside the ring as well. The other day when we had a media conference at his gym, he was able to deal with all the media folks there without any problem. He knows how to handle it very nice, very well spoken, the way they asked him questions and the way he responded back to them. And one of the things that a lot of folks were surprised was when I asked him, Floyd, when are you contemplating on, retirement? You're 37 years young and you have a contract with Showtime, 3 more fights. What happens after that? He says, I plan to retire after those 3 fights. But now, hey guys, come on. Haven't we heard that in the past from other fighters? I give you a good example. Bernard Hopkins. He promised his mother, may she rest in peace, back when he was saying, when I be 40 years old, I'm going to retire from boxing. And how old is Bernard Hopkins? 49. You know what happens? Clink, 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 clink. The money keeps going into the bank. Nobody's touching. They're not getting hurt. How can you walk away for $10, $15 million a fight? Floyd Mayweather, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, $80 million a fight. Are you going to walk away from that, Floyd? You might have said that at the press conference, but I guarantee you keep going the way you're going, buddy, you're going to be there until you're into your mid-40s, guys. Watch Floyd Mayweather Saturday night. He's going to put on a performance like never before. He knows he's up against a puncher. He knows he can't afford to get hit. He knows he can't afford to lose this fight because he has other big fights on the horizon. So I think that Floyd Mayweather is going to put out a great boxing exhibition. He's going to have great combinations all night long because the only way to keep a guy off of you, me being an ex-fighter, is if you stay busy. The busier you stay, the more the guy got to cover up. And the guy who's a puncher, you want him to be covering up all the time. You don't want him throwing punches at you because he's dangerous. He can punch. So Mayweather's going to keep that jab. He's going to keep combinations quick. He's going to be moving. He's going to a lot of lateral movement, a lot of jabs, a lot of quick combinations, one after the other. Floyd's not going to wait there and wait for the dangerous puncher that Maidana is. So I think we're going to see a great night of boxing this coming Saturday here at the MGM Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. Don't miss it on pay-per-view. It'll be a great night of boxing. Okay, they have a couple other championship fights on the card. Adrian Broner is coming back after the defeat at the hands of Maidana. So he wants to show the world that he wants to get back on track. Just like when Canelo Alvarez lost to Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather gave Canelo Alvarez a boxing lesson. And that's what Maidana, he put Adrian Broner down a couple of times. And you know what? He learned the lesson. After he comes back now, he wants to prove to the world that he can put the pieces together. He went back to the drawing board and learned how to keep those punches up and be ready to counter punch, because a lot of these fighters, they get out there and they just wait and wait and wait, and you can't wait against a heavy hitter like Maidana. Andrew Broner can tell you that. He's never been down in the past. When he got clipped a couple of times, he went down. So that's where Mayweather has to be very careful and watch out. Then, so you got Andrew Broner fighting an unknown Carlos Molina, I believe it is, who's not the Carlos Molina that's incarcerated right now here in Henderson, Nevada. He's been incarcerated since the last show here, the last big show, for immigration purposes and reasons that they haven't locked up. He hasn't been released yet. They had him on some other charges. So we wish him well, but this is not the same Carlos Molina. It's another Carlos Molina who is not at the same level as the original, the world season Carlos Molina, who's incarcerated. But anyway, that's one of the fights. Then you have Amir Khan fighting on the same card. He's fighting Collazo. Collazo is a heavy hitter, a good puncher, a Puerto Rican who has the height over Amir Khan and can punch. Don't be surprised if he puts away Amir Khan. Amir Khan was hoping to be the opponent for Mayweather on this card, but that didn't happen because it wasn't on sale. A lot of folks have given up on Amir Khan, and they felt that, well, at least put him on the same card to see what he can do against Collazo. I think it's a big mistake that Collazo is hungry. He wants to be recognized as a top contender, and he's proven in the past that he can punch. So my prediction is Collazo may put away Amir Khan Saturday night, but let's see. Then we have, coming up in the next couple of, actually in another month or so, you have the International Boxing Hall of Fame up in Canastota, New York. Yes, a great inductees. One of my colleagues, Richard Steele, finally getting inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And I'm so pleased because he's a great man. And he runs the Richard Steele Boxing Club here in Las Vegas, Nevada. He's doing great things for the community with the kids, with the boxing program. So he was a great referee, well over 150 World Championship fights. And he's very well deserving of his induction into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. You also have Joel Calzaghe, undefeated fighter from Wales, referee him on numerous occasions, and great fighter. He's very well deserving of being inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Also, he retired undefeated with 50 some odd professional fights. You have Oscar De La Hoya. Oscar De La Hoya, one of the great names in boxing in the last 2 decades. And he's done very well for himself, for the sport of boxing. Was an Olympic gold medalist, and became a real decent world champion. And now has Golden Boy Promotions, which is a great promotional company. We wish him well. And then we, of course, have Felix Trinidad from Puerto Rico, the great welterweight and middleweight champion. And we'll be seeing him at the International Hall of Fame. So it'll be a great night of boxing. And that same weekend, it's going to be a little conflict because all the Puerto Ricans want to be in New York City to watch Miguel Cotto challenge Sergio Martinez for the middleweight championship of the world. And, you know, Miguel Cotto has his fans up there, but they got Felix Trinidad the day after being inducted into the International Hall of Fame. But you have the night before, 2 nights before the induction, they have a Puerto Rican night at Canastota, New York. Everybody wants to be there for that as well. But, you know, it's a big ride. It's a long ride between Canastota, New York and New York City, about 4.5 hour drive. So people say, how can we do this? We want to be with Felix Trinidad at the events at Canastota, New York, which will be a great weekend of different ceremonies and events going on. And they also want to be with Miguel Cotto in New York City, Madison Square Garden. Then you have the Puerto Rican Day Parade on Sunday, the same day of the induction in Capistrano. So, you know, people say, well, what do we do? Where do we go? I think a lot of the fans are going to want to be with Miguel Cotto. I think a third going to be with Miguel Cotto, a third at the Puerto Rican Day Parade, and a third going to be at the International Hall of Fame for the induction. You know, I'm going to try to be at all of them. It's going to be impossible, but most likely, I'll probably end up in Capistrano, New York, to support Felix Trinidad for the induction and be there for the events prior to the induction. So we hope to see a lot of you fans up there. It'll be a great weekend of boxing, a great weekend of special induction, great individuals to be inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. And let me tell you guys, when I got inducted 3 years ago, it was a great weekend, and it was the most enjoyable weekend of my life, being at the International Boxing Hall of Fame. So I hope a lot of you folks watching out there can make it up there as well. Take care. Talk to you next week.